Hi guys, it's Amy from Little Farm Quilts. Okay, so you probably noticed a little frustration in my face. This is take 2. Because I looked up after my whole spiel on the first time and that I had never hit the record button. So we're going to start again. Hi, I hope you had a great Christmas and a Happy New Year. Before anybody comments, because I always tend to get comments about how I look tired. I actually am very tired today. I feel like my husband and I are kind of jet lagging a little bit. Our last child returned home yesterday early morning. It's been kind of a whirlwind. I think last night was our first night home alone without anybody else in our house in about 3 weeks. So that in itself has its own issues. We got used to us being home alone, and then all of a sudden we had a house full, and then you get used to that, and then all of a sudden they're all gone and back home. So everybody's returned back home safe and sound. We had a great Christmas. We had a great New Year's. I always take New Year's as a time to reflect and see how things went this year. Especially, you know, I work a full-time gig, but I have a part-time quilting business. So it's not just a time to reflect on me. It's a time to reflect on the business, see how it's going, what things we want to do, what things I'd like to change. And I have deemed that 2020 is going to be the year of focus. I'm sure that everybody can relate to me. As crafters, I get kind of ADD and I jump around from one project to the next. I cross stitch, I quilt. I used to crochet and knit. I don't do them so much anymore, and now I'm a YouTuber. Whoever thought I'd be a YouTuber? But anyway, here I am. So the first thing I did New Year's Day was decided that if this was going to be the year of focus, I needed to figure out how I was going to do that. So the very first decision that I made was that I was putting out 2 videos a week, and I don't do fancy video editing. You guys kind of get it uncut and natural as it is. I was putting out 2 videos a week. One video was hanging by a thread. That was my quilting side of things. One video was my Flosstube. I have decided to combine those. I'm still going to call them Flosstube. And I'll kind of give you guys a heads up as to what I'm going to talk about for the next few minutes. And if you want to zone out while I'm talking about quilting stuff, have at it. And if you want to zone out while I'm talking about cross-stitching stuff, you can do that too. But in an effort to give me more time in front of my sewing machines or sitting stitching, I'm going to do 1 video a week, at least until such time as I don't have to work a full-time job anymore. So that's kind of where we are with that. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about cross-stitching a little bit. I really did not get a ton of stitching done around Christmas. I can't imagine that many floss tubers got a ton of stitching done at Christmas. Maybe some of them did. I was too busy preparing food, taking care of house guests, doing laundry, you know, whatever. So back last year, during Mania, I picked up this cross-stitch journal from Fat Quarter Shop, and I talked to you guys a little bit about this, and I logged all of my Mania starts thinking that I would keep track of them. I'm not really good at keeping track of them, and I didn't keep track of most of them. So what I did pull it back out for is to use my stitchy list in the book, and I went through my cross-stitch. Sorry guys, I have a little bit of a drippy nose, so I'm going to take care of that. I listed all of my whips. Now, in Mania, you guys will recall I kind of gave away 4 of my Mania starts because I didn't like them and I wasn't going to stitch on them anymore. Then I had my mom work on the Year of Celebrations to get that ready for a show I was doing in September. So that took some of those. Currently I have, and I know that many of you rival me in the whip area, but I gotta tell you, the whips are driving me crazy. I watch some of you, and you have whips that are astronomical amounts. But I can't do that. And God love you if you can, but I cannot. I currently have 13 whips in my cross stitch crate. So let me show you this crate. My cross stitch crate. I have 13 whips in there. 3 of them are long-term projects. That's Snow Village, Jack Frost Tree Farm, and my Jesus Lamb one. That's a full coverage piece. Those projects will be worked on for at least the next year, probably the next few years before they're finished. So 10 of these are short-term projects. Of those, the only ones I really worked on over the holidays, which I had a finish on Snow Village, this was I think this is part 4. This is part 3, sorry. Snowflakes for sale. I finished that, and then part 4 came the day after. It's called Peppermint Parlor. There you go. I do plan to start that. Snow Village is one of my long-term projects, so I am going to start that. The only other one I worked on was I received Snowy, which is the latest collaboration between Priscilla Blaine and Hands On Design, and I did start the small. Just because I felt it was doable, and I wanted to start it. Other than that, I did not get any more stitching done. My goal with the cross stitch, I think, is to, I would love to get all of my whips except for those 3 long-term projects done before Mania. We'll see how that goes. I'm having trouble figuring out how to organize my stitchy time. Like, do I want to organize my stitchy time, or do I just want to pick projects up and work on them when I want to work on them? I typically cross stitch every day. Very rarely do I not, but do I really want to give myself daily goals of, let's say, stitch on this particular piece on this particular day for this amount of time? If I run into a day when I can't stitch that amount of time for whatever reason, and there are a million things that take us away from our stitchy time, that will stress me out. So I don't want to do that. My husband has mentioned there could be benefit for me tracking my time on these for ones that I may sell. I don't really sell a lot of my cross stitch. I sell way more on the quilting side of stuff. So I don't know. I have to think about that. If you guys have suggestions, please, by all means, pipe in, because I would love to. I find that joining things like stitch-alongs, like Snow Village is a stitch-along club with Fat Quarter Shop, and Chockful is another one through Fat Quarter Shop. Those keep me motivated to keep going, but I do want to keep going back to my other whips and getting them done. So I don't know if it's just a matter of you taking an old whip every day and working on that for 20 minutes, and then the rest of the time you work on whatever you want to work on. I don't know. I got to figure that out. And I struggle with the same thing on the quilting side. So what I did for my cross stitch was I listed all of my whips. I have one of these quilting planners that I bought last year thinking I was going to organize my quilting life, which I wasn't real good about doing. The quilting planner. Now this is from 2019. I'm not buying a new one because I didn't really use this one. But what I did do with this one is I projects at a glance page. And I came down here to my sewing room and I listed all of my whips that I have down here and what stage they're in, because it gives us nice little columns like fabric chosen, cut, pieced, assembled, backed, basted, quilted, and bound. And it gives us all those. And I listed those. And I think I have 19... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 17. I was close. 17 quilting whips down here. And I'm sure if I looked farther, I could probably come up with a couple more. So between cross stitch and quilting, I have declared 2020 the year of the whips. They are getting done one way or the other. Now ideally what I'd love to do is finish them up as soon as I can and then move my year on to starts. Because that's the most fun part, right? That's starting a new project. And I think it takes stamina to stay with a project and finish. So there's something to be said for that. I will be adding a quilt to my quilting whips once the charity quilt Bloomtopia starts at Fat Quarter Shop. So that'll cause me to go to 18. And like I said, there's probably a couple more down here that I just have not seen yet, and they will be added to the list when I come across them. So I really want to get the whips done. I really, really do. I enjoyed the Christmas time. I enjoyed being able to stitch a little bit, but I enjoyed the family time. And I enjoy my stitchy time, but I want more time to create. Just to create. So my cross stitch, I find, is a very relaxing medium for me. I just follow a pattern and I move on. The sewing's a little bit different. I tend to like to go rogue and create my own things. So I have some things going. I'm currently working on the Bonnie Hunter mystery quilt. We are on clue 7. I'm behind, have not finished clue 6 yet. And I've almost completed cutting. Let's see, I worked today. I cut all of clue 6. I'm cutting clue 7 now. Her quilts are notoriously a lot of scrappy pieces, and I love how they come out, but they take a lot of work and a lot of time. You can see the long arm behind me is empty. I plan to be loading a quilt on there because I believe I have about 5 tops waiting to go on that machine. I also have one quilt down there that has the binding sewed on. It's just not finished. So it's just a matter of taking a few minutes to finish it. It's kind of crazy. But I want to dedicate this year to the whips. So just chime in down below and give me some ideas of how you keep organized and motivated to work through your whips. It's a short video this week because I don't have a lot to show you guys after the holiday. But hopefully next week I'll be back in gear and we'll have a ton to show. The one thing I do want to show you is I bought, before Christmas, it's called Little Tree by Lella Boutique at Moda Fabrics. I bought 3 jelly rolls of it and a couple of charm packs. And I've been taking the jelly rolls and doing a Bargello quilt. And if you don't know what that is, you will in a second when I show it to you. This is a Bargello quilt. And yeah, my hope when I started this was that I was going to have it done for our bed for Christmas. No. I have to make 6 of these panels and I've only got 1 done. They are easy sews, so that's that. In the charm packs, I'm actually going to at some point update our tree skirt. We have a tree skirt that was made for us back when we first got married 24 years ago now. We celebrated on Christmas Eve. I'm making a new tree skirt, so that'll future projects that I'd like to do. But I think the first part of this year I'm going to concentrate on the whips and I'm just going to calmly work through them and get these things done. They'll either go in my Etsy shop or be gifted to somebody or whatever, but follow along on my journey in 2020. I'm looking forward to it. If you want to follow along, I'm available on Instagram. I have a Facebook page. And here on YouTube, hopefully for weekly videos. Okay, but guys, give me your pointers. How do I keep myself motivated through 2020? How do I organize everything and keep me going to get these things done? Have a great weekend. I'll see you next week.